Okay, Chevra, what a privilege to sit together. It's so special to be here with you. When that room is not needed anymore, maybe it's Kedai to shut those lights also. But not yet, but when... It's a privilege to sit together with Yidden always. But these moments, these past few years, it's more than just like it's a nice thing. We absolutely must sit together. We have to share together moments of connection. We have to share moments of chizuk. We have to share moments of just keeping each other company, knowing that we're not alone. There's a lot of lonely people in the world. So with huge gratitude to the Rav and really to Rabbi Alex for arranging the whole Shabbos that will be starting tonight. So I invite you to join me with all your hearts and souls, and we're going to sing and we'll learn and we'll try to connect to something deeper. But the only request that I have, especially for the Chevra in the back, if we're entering in, let's really be here fully with all of ourselves. Let's really be present now. Join me. Let's hear you all much louder, please join me. just singing now, and Hashem alach, aguf alach, very remarkable words, because they express ownership, the realization that mala aretz kinyanacha, like we don't usually think in this way. And there's no such thing as hefker in this world. Nothing's hefker. Because I don't really think about this all the time, but in great shining moments you come to the realization that I am owned, you know? I belong to somebody. Like a free agent, like a regular person, that I am owned. Haneshama Allah, aguf Allah, Mala Aretz Kinyanecha, the whole world is filled with acquisitions of God. The whole world is filled with things that belong to something. That belong to the thing, the infinite, the Ein Sof, the endless one. And what a beautiful thing to know that I belong to somebody. What a beautiful thing it is to know that there's somebody who's looking out for me. To know that even when I'm alone, I'm never feel lonely. Because the one to whom everything belongs is watching over me. And this is what we're expressing in these words. Hanasham Allah, Haguf Pa'allah, Chus Alam Allah. I'm your handiwork. I was created by you. So let me feel that you're looking out for me. Let me realize, like the Lubavitcher Rebbe used to bless everybody, we should be privileged not just to see good things, we all see good things. It should be Ha'toiv, Ha'nirav, Ha'niglis. It should be revealed goodness. Everything is good, but it should be revealed. Let me feel that. Let me feel the hashkacha. Give me a sign, Show me little hints. Help me encounter teachers and teachings that will enable me to not just intellectually have this concept of God, but to live with it. To really live with it. V'tzadik be'emunasa yichya. It's a whole different thing. To really live with it. So that I can live with emunah, which lives far beyond the walls of a shul, or far beyond the walls of a beis medrash, and far after I close the siddur and the Gemara. Where I bring HaKadosh Baruch Hu into every single minute of my life. Akol neshima u'neshima ta'alelaka. Every breath that a Jew takes is a direct interaction with the divine. Every moment, every small, insignificant little thing, there's nothing that's small, there's nothing that's little or insignificant. It's all HaKadosh Baruch Hu attempting to communicate. He created the world with speech and He recreates the world each and every moment, like we say in Shachris, HaMachadesh B'tuva B'chal Yom Tamid Ma'aseh Bereishis. He's speaking perpetually. And Rav Nosson of Breslov asks, what kind of speech is it? Because speech can mean millions of things. You can say a poem, you could say a joke, you could give a lecture, you could say a thesis, you could, a speech, it's millions of kinds of speech. What kind of speech did HaKadosh Baruch Hu use when He created the world? You know what Rav Nosson says? He says HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world with the speech and the words of a prayer, of a tefillah. That the whole world is HaKadosh Baruch Hu requesting of us, please see me. Please live in such a way where you recognize me. Because the whole entire world is a game of hide and seek. And like Rabbi Yitzchak Berditchever says, I find God everywhere, So Baruch HaMezrah says, Mala Aretz Kinyanecha doesn't just mean that the whole earth is filled with things that belong to God. He said much deeper. He says, Mala Aretz Kinyanecha, the whole world is filled with ways, not like to encounter things that are owned by God, but ways that enable me to acquire more godliness in my life. Mala Aretz Kinyanecha. Like, the whole life is littered with opportunities to acquire more lived emunah. Be'emunasa yichya. So with this intention, let's sing the following song. Please join me. Let's actually take it down a key a little bit lower. We have to bring emunah even into the lower chords. Okay, join me. We So on a simple level, these words that we're just saying, what they mean on a simple level is, of course, Ani Mamin B'Emunah Shleima, I believe with complete faith, V'Vias HaMashiach, that this world that belongs to someone, to the one, the only one, there's hope for this place. Despite all appearances on the surface, there's hope for the world. I believe that redemption is coming to the world. I believe that all the psukim that we read in Navi, we're going to witness them unfold in front of our eyes. And we say, Va'af al pi she'ismameh, even though it might take a long time, much longer than anybody ever anticipated, Im kol zeh achak aloi b'chol yom sheyavai. Which means on a simple level, I wait every day for him to come. I want to tell you something very important. And if anybody knows me a little bit, I don't say Dvar Tyrus. Because what's the point? It's just another form of entertainment, I'm trying to give over very crucial, fundamental messages that we could take with us. Most people think that the Geula and the coming of Mashiach is in event. Most people think that it's galus. We're in exile, and then 1 minute, okay, Mashiach's here, shofar blows, the lights turn on, the whole world is fixed. The Gemara in Yerushalmi in the beginning of Brachas tells us of two tzaddikim who are walking on one of the mountains near Yerushalayim. And they were walking around in the nighttime, and they saw that the sun began to rise. And one of them says to the other, he says, listen, Kach ku'ulasan shel Yisrael. This is the way that the redemption will unfold. But chila kima kima. First, it emerges very, very slowly. V'kol she'yaleches yaleches v'raba. And the more time passes, just like the sun rises very slowly but very surely, the process of redemption will unfold. If you don't remember anything else from tonight, and I hope you remember a lot more, remember that the Geula is not an event, it's a process. And the Tzadikei Elyon, the masters, the Mar de Pnimius, the masters of the interiority of Torah, the Neshama, the Neshmasa Deoraisa, make it abundantly clear that Mashiach's coming is a long, long process that, according to the Arachaim HaKadosh and the Malbim and his Pirush and Yeshayahu Hanavi, tells us that this light, this sunlight of the Geula, of the redemption, began the minute that the last child stepped out of Eretz Yisrael and went into Galus. So Chazal tell us that the Shekhinah stayed in Eretz Yisrael until the children left. And already the moment that exile began, already the light of the Geula began to shine in the world. And throughout history, that light of the redemption, which is the light of Emunah, which is the light of Amala Ards Deus Hashem Kamayim Liyam Chasim, the verse, the Psukim, and the Nevi'im, and our prophets that explain that we're going to enter into a period of time where the wisdom and the knowledge and the consciousness and the direct connectivity with the divine will be like water covers the ocean bed. The whole world will be saturated with wisdom and clarity. That process already began thousands of years ago, and in each and every generation it widens and broadens and deepens, and deeper layers of our definitions of basic Jewish concepts like Hashem, for example, and what Hashem is, and the depth and the extent of Hashem's love has expanded and expanded and expanded, from Moshe Rabbeinu to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and from Rashbi to the Ari, and the Ari to the Baal Shem HaKadosh. And the Baal Shem really culminates in Rabbi Nachman in a certain very important way, in a very hidden way. Deeper and deeper Giluyim Atzumim, the most awesome revelations of what this whole world is all about. And the realization that I'm not sitting around waiting for Mashiach to come, but that Achak Eloi B'chol Yoyim, that my yearning and my faith, the animam, is itself sheyavai. Not that I sit around waiting for him to come. I sit around waiting so that he comes, because my sitting and waiting and longing and hoping and yearning and feeling the humility, which we'll speak a little bit about later, is itself the light of the Geula, is itself redemptive. It is itself contributing to this great process of the illumination of the Geula unfolding and being revealed as the sun continues to rise. And we're mamish right now. I mean, if you just look around and you know a little bit about what the Sfarim talk about the Geula, it's literally happening. You open your eyes a little bit, we say let our eyes see, and if it happens your eyes should see, so what do you have to pray about it? And the answer is that it could be happening and people could be absolutely blind to it. It's happening in front of our eyes. It's so close. It's so close. And we're a part of it. We each have a spark of Mashiach inside of us. And when we can redeem that energy inside of us and enter into the consciousness of Emunah, the Mashiach is coming. Well, somebody asked me, do you think Mashiach's going to come this year? The Mashiach is coming this second. But I don't mean that Mashiach will come this second. I hope he will. And I hope the process will be finished. What I mean is that this itself is Mashiach coming. Gatherings like this, humble Jews getting together to connect in a very cold world, longing for a moment of depth, connecting to the neshama. I mean, this is the light of the Geula. But he's coming right now. It's very close. So join me in this song about how close it is. Join me. So what are the things that the Svarim say about this energy of Geula, the energy of the redemption, and how we relate to HaKadosh Baruch Hu through that Geula-oriented mindset that is absolutely bound up with what's called Nefesh HaTorah, which has been steadily revealed throughout the generations, because the Zohar Kadosh makes it incredibly clear in a number of places that The Klal Yisrael will get out of exile with that sefer. And any sefer that's drawing on that wellspring is part of Geula consciousness. It's trying to bring a person in touch with their soul. To put a person in touch with the soul of existence, which is a Kodesh Baruch Hu, to put a Jew in touch with the soul of another Yid. Neshama, neshama, neshama. One of the perspectives that the tzaddikim, of the Beis Medrash, particularly of the Baal Shem, were trying to bring a person into with regard to the relationship with Hashem, is to try to get out of the consciousness of serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Mishnah tells us not to serve Hashem amanas lekabel pras, to try to get out of the mindset that the purpose of davening and learning, doing mitzvahs, is for the receiving of some reward, whether in this world or the next. That's a fundamental belief of ours. We believe in Schar and Einish. It's one of the 13 animamins. But according to the tzaddikim, that was like a baseline level. And we believe that that's true, but we also believe that it's irrelevant. Because to the tzaddikim, schar mitzvah, mitzvah, as the Mishnah tells us. And on a simple level, that means that the reward of one mitzvah is that you'll get another mitzvah to do. And ostensibly, because if you get schar, if you get reward for a mitzvah, so if you get another mitzvah, beautiful, it increases the schar, and that's generally a simple understanding of it. But almost, echad, like almost universally, all of the students of the Maggid of Mizrich, who was the primary disciple of the Baal Shem Tov, in all their Sfarim, they bring the following interpretation of those words: Schar, mitzvah, mitzvah. The reward for doing a mitzvah is a mitzvah. And the tzaddikim teach that the word mitzvah means commandment, or like you'd say, commandment. And you're the ones with the accent, not me. So on the one hand, a mitzvah is like a commandment, like you have to do it. It's like Niloshin Tziva, right? Have you ever heard the Hebrew word tzevet? What's it, tzevet? Like a tzevet in the army. How would you translate that word? What's it, tzevet? It's a platoon. It's a group. Because in Aramaic, the word for connection is tzavta. Means to connect. So to the tzaddikim, a mitzvah wasn't like a commandment, gotta do it, And if you don't, you're gonna get punished. And if you do, you're gonna get a reward. That they weren't in this consciousness at all. At all. And they took mitzvahs just as seriously as anybody else. Maybe more seriously. But it wasn't coming from that energy at all. To the tzaddikim, schar mitzvah, the greatest reward they could ever possibly get out of a mitzvah was the mitzvah, meaning was the tzavsa, was the connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that they were experiencing in that moment. You didn't need to promise them olam haba and not olam hazeh. They had it. Because to the tzaddikim and from a geula consciousness, the main thing in Yiddishkeit is relationship. It's the most important word. It's the essence of our tradition. Ani l'doidi v'doidi li. This is not some kind of game. God is like, He needs us to run around and make ourselves crazy. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is begging us. Im b'chukaisai telechu. Chazal say the word im is mamash of hakasha. HaKadosh b'maltusa minach. Hashem is saying, please take my hand. I want a relationship with you. It's very difficult to go this world alone. Hashem says, I know that you need me. And in some fundamental, mysterious way, Hashem says, I need you too. Ani l'doidi v'doidi li. The schar mitzvah is the mitzvah itself. To the Raditchever Rav, the Edgware of Levi Yitzchak ben Saras Hashas Chusya ben Aleinu v'Kol Yisrael. This great tzaddik read the words that we're going to read, Be'ezras Hashem, Shabbos morning. Ein areich lecha, Hashem Elokeinu ba'olam hazeh. Which on a simple level means that there's nothing like you, not in this world, not in the next world. Efes biltucha ga'aleinu l'maisa Mashiach, not when Mashiach comes, and even la'asad lava, Olam haba, there's nothing quite like you. That's what it means on a surface. Ein areich lecha. In Sefer Kedushas Levi, the tzaddik writes the following thing. He says, you know what we're really saying, and we're going to sing it together, hopefully with this intention. He says, Rabbanu Shalom, not ein areich lecha, like there's nothing like you, there's nothing as valuable, there's nothing as special. He says, ein areich lecha, there's nothing as valuable to me. Ein areich lecha, like there's nothing as precious in this whole entire world to me than just you. Not ba'olam hazeh and not even ba'olam haba, because you can give me all the schar in the world, I will throw it away like a child throws away the toys when the mother comes into the room and goes crawling after the mother, because what are the toys worth when the mommy's in the room? I just want you. Not in olam haba and Moisa Mashiach and olam haba. Is just you, ki yadua. It's known the Berditchever saying this poem called Adudala. You've heard this? The Berditchever said do in Yiddish, do means you. And he just would walk around saying, do. Aye emsa eka, aye loy emsa eka. Where can I find you? Where can I not find you? The whole world is hide and seek. The Berditchever says, I find him everywhere I look, everywhere I look. It's just you. In this moment is you, and every word is you. At the office is you. On the street is you. Reading the news is you. A Yid is always a Yid. Every minute of life, drinking a coffee in the morning, spending time with our children, with our friends, with our parents, with our wives. It's just you. Just different ways of encountering the One. So let's sing these words together now, and hopefully with this intention, Imamish, try to find a place where we mean it, where we come to this realization, like, I don't need anything else in this reality, I just need you. And if I don't have you, then nothing will do, and if I have you, I need nothing else. Join me. Hashem such words and such feelings, it's an Eis Ratzon, no question about it. We're literally doing what we were created to do. It's to be Makir Hashem, to come to that realization, to know God, and to talk about Hashem, to keep Him front and center. There's nothing else. Everything else is a means toward that end. There are no other ends. Ein oid movada. It's just Him, relationship. So let's use this moment for tefillah. Let's beg HaKadosh Baruch Hu to open the gates. To open the gates for our brothers and sisters in Yerushalayim. We were sitting and had a very nice day today. And a few million people had to run to shelters, and children were scared. And the collective Jewish heart of our brothers and sisters, 6 million or so of them who are currently living in the Holy Land, that heart shuddered, and how could our heart not shudder along with them? So let's daven that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should be merachim on them. They should see the Tov HaNirah VaNiklas. All of us should see the revealed good. So let's do this one together. the school sessions that I had this week, there was a conversation around Pesach, Chodesh Nisan coming up. And one of the girls asked a very important question, a very obvious question, that many of us have probably considered one form or another. And she said, what's the whole business of the Hallel and Haidah, the thanking Hashem, that we do on Pesach at the culmination of the Seder is Hallel? What are we thanking Hashem for if He's the one who put us in Mitzrayim in the first place? It's like an uncomfortable question, because we'd rather not focus on that part. And we're busy celebrating the fact that Hashem took us out. It's very beautiful He took us out. He also put us in. Strong kasha. This was one question. And another girl asked, how can we really feel the chayav kol adam liras atzmi kilu hu yatzeh mitzrayim, what we say in the Haggadah, that each and every individual needs to see themselves kilu as if they themselves left Egypt. Like, let's be honest, we live in such a radically different circumstance. How's that possible? Even the wildest imagination, can we really consider it kilu I just got out of Egypt? I don't know what Egypt is. I don't know what getting out of Egypt is. I don't what does it mean? And I think the following thing is very deep and very real. Pesach is full of symbols. The whole entire Pesach is all about symbols. There are more symbols associated with Pesach than arguably any other yontiv. The whole inyan of the Seder, the Dalar Koises, and all the different mitzvahs, and the Karpas, and the Morar, and the Charoises, and all the whole thing is an experiential, immersive experience. And among all these symbols, arguable that the two most prominent, around which, at least biblically, in Torah Shabbat, all the psukim are revolving around these two symbols. In particular, is the symbol of chametz and the symbol of matzah. These two are probably the most prominent, maybe the Korban Pesach. These two symbols, matzah and chametz, are fundamentally symbolic of our experience in Mitzrayim as a nation and our experience of Geula from Mitzrayim. What's chametz and what's matzah? Chametz, everybody knows. Chazal already connect, our sages connect chametz to the Yetzer Hara, to the evil inclination. That really every Jew is always saying to Hashem, Ritzayni lasis ritzanecha, I want to do what you want, because I recognize that you're my Abba, and a father only wants what's best for his child. So it turns out that what you want is actually what I deeply want. I just haven't revealed that part of myself that wants it. There's the chametz, the yeast inside of the dough, that's preventing me from accessing my inner tzaddik. That's preventing me from living like a neshama. That's preventing me from embodying the traits of Rachmanim, Baishanim, Goyim, Chasadim. It's preventing me from being a yid. There's chametz inside of me. So already in Chazal, you see it viscerally in the Gemara, that chametz and the Yetzer Hara are synonymous. But we also know that if you think about chametz in a certain sense, especially in contrast to matzah, what chametz represents really is arrogance, is gaiva. Because chametz puffs itself up. The whole thing of chametz is that it's much more than what it fundamentally really is. And there's a process that takes place in which this very simple mixture begins to rise and rise and rise and rise and rise. What is it fundamentally? What it fundamentally is matzah.
Because that's really what it is. But in the most simple formulation, which is what matzah is, literally in the barest amount of time that we could construct anything out of this mixture, it's what we get is matzah. It's very simple, very basic, nothing fancy. It's just the thing itself. But chametz is puffing itself up. We think about matzah in relation to chametz, like I just mentioned, as humility. But I hardly ever these days, at least, I never use the word humble. Because who's humble, The person who's humble thinks he's humble. He's trying to be humble. It's much more accurate to it's a very small change. You just have to put the letter D at the end of that word. It's much more accurate. Not humble, but humbled. It's a different thing. It's a whole different thing. Because you can meet humble people. I'm sure they're humble. But then you can meet humbled people. This is a different story. People who have experienced circumstances in life that have humbled them. You see the difference? They're not working on any of us. Life has pushed them into a place where they recognize that they're a lot more fragile than they felt they were. Do you hear the difference? Can I have some nodding of heads? Do you hear the difference between these two things? Humble and humbled. One is like a person's trying to work on something, and the other is life hits you in the face, like especially nobody here, but in a certain sense all of us here, because that's the nature of life, hopefully. We should be awake to what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is helping us do. Is to come to the realization that I am not adequate. I'm humbled. Life pushes me into a place where I recognize that I'm really desperate, like I can't go this alone. People go through health challenges, people go through parnasa challenges, people go through challenges with children, people go through challenges with shalom bayis, people go through millions of things. One of the most remarkable psukim, perhaps in Tehillim, upon which Chazal comment, one of the most remarkable comments, because it's so relevant for today and our current circumstances, the pasuk that tells us, David HaMelech says, Tashev enosh adaka, which means HaKadosh Baruch Hu pushes a person adaka, which means into a lowly state. And Chazal comment on these words, Tashev enosh adaka, this very, I think, remarkable formulation, dichducha shel nefesh. You know what this means, dichducha shel nefesh? We would call it today maybe depression, or anxiety, Dichducha shel nefesh. Now, it's not talking about a person who's thrown into a physical pit. Dichducha shel nefesh. Hashem pushes a person into mental health challenges. Hashem pushes a person into a state of bewilderment and confusion and addiction, and a person doesn't know what to do with themselves anymore. And it's a pretty miserable pasuk, if it ended there, but it doesn't. There are 3 more words. Tashev enosh adaka. HaKadosh Baruch Hu pushes a person into a state of dichducha shel nefesh, v'atoimer shuvu b'nei adam. 4 words. And he says, return, return, return. What does it mean, return? So tzaddikim say, Rav Kook writes very explicitly, but it's mavur and other svarim as well, that to do tshuva doesn't just mean to return to Hashem. To do tshuva means to return to you. To return to who you really are, what you really are. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I don't need you serving me with all your fancy whatever. Hashem says, I just need you, but be real with me. Rachmana liba boy, be real with me. Hashem doesn't need a robot that's dressed up nicely in Orthodox Jewish garb, whatever that is, if there's such a thing. Hashem needs you, mamish you. Authentically, vulnerably. Hashem says, after an experience of Tashev and Ashadaka, so what games are you playing in? But there's no games left. There's no point. Because everything's falling apart. There's nothing to lose. There's everything to gain by just being you. And like Rav Kook says, when a person returns to their essential I, then immediately they find Hashem. Because that's what you are. You're a chelik alakamimal. You're a spark of the divine. But we put on all of these masks and we play all these silly games. And it's for naught. Because life is very short. We should all live long and happy till 120. Life is over in a flash. It's a dream. A unique chalma. And there's no time to lose. So the difference between chametz and matzah, etymologically, meaning from the standpoint of the letters, are remarkably similar, because the word chametz and the word matzah, 2/3 are the same word. Because the mem and the ches, or the mem and the tzadi rather, is the same. Chametz, and those two same letters, metz, matz, ah. Right? So what's the difference then between chametz and matzah on a verbal level? Is the letter ches and the letter hey. And tzaddikim explain that the difference between the letter ches and the letter hey is that the hey is open and the ches is all closed up. And the hey has that little open space. That's the only difference between the letter ches and the letter hey. They have the same form, but where a ches goes all the way around, the hey goes and then it's open. And the tzaddikim say broken open. Mamish broken open, humbled. Reintroduced to the essence of what it is. Simplicity, vulnerability, and the ability to speak. That's really what comes out of it, the ability to communicate. Without getting into the whole thing now, I'll speak more on Shabbos about it, on Shabbos morning, Bez Hashem. The ability to communicate for real, meaning the ability to really forge relationships that are absolutely authentic. That isn't the mask of me interacting transactionally usually with the mask of you. It's a real talk. Because these are the beautiful conversations that take place when a person is pushed to the end. And when they're forced to really share what's going on inside of them. That's real. Imagine a husband and wife and all their conversations for 70 years. They have an anniversary at the end of their lives, and all they ever spoke about is about the shopping lists and about who's picking up this from that store and whose your job is it to pick up the kids from school today, and etc. And that's their whole communication is all about that. So what do you call that? I mean, are they married? Halachically, sure. But that's not communication. It's not a sharing of soul with soul. That's not ishvi isha zacha shchina shrei b'neihem. That's not the God presence. It's not present there. But when a person is able to open up their mouth, and a person is able to find the humility to be able to express what's going on for real, and a person is able to close the siddur, which we sometimes have to do, and where a person is able to look away from the words that are set out for us by Chazal that you could read like liturgy, most of the time not even knowing the translation of the words, and that's what we call quote-unquote tefillah. And we're able to return to the primary form of tefillah, like the Rambam writes. That's what tefillah used to be. And people just used to walk out into the field and they used to speak to Hashem from their heart. Rabbi Nachman Schusirgalina reintroduced to Judaism as his spodidus, spending time alone. A Rebbe and friend of mine sent me a message this week. He said, I came up with a new English word for a spodidus. He said, maybe we'll call it alonement. That's what he said. Alonement. You have atonement and alonement. I like it. What do you think? Yeah, alonement. Spending time alone. And to speak to Hashem without a text, without a prescribed thing, just from your heart. Tell him what's going on. And Avada, we need Shachris Mincha Marav as well. And the words of Chazal are changing the whole nature of reality. Every word, whether you say it with kavanah or without kavanah, like the Nefesh HaTorah explains at length. But it's crucial to speak to Hashem in our own words, to open up our mouths, to be the letter hey, the matzah, just to speak authentically, because what's the point of pretending? It's not even a halacha. You're not going to get any, it's not like nobody's going to pat you on the back. Nobody needs to know about it. The Rebbe says under your talis, under your bed sheets at night, you're walking on the street, you pretend to speak on the phone, people think I'm very busy, I'm just speaking to Hashem the whole time. Just pretend, but just speak to Hashem. For real, for real, for real. Because what's it worth if it isn't real? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is only present when something is emes. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is emes. You could have something that could look super frum. If it isn't authentic, I promise you, Hashem is not there. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is only in emes. Hashem wants a relationship with us. Rachmana liba boy. He's yearning for our heart. Let's give him what he's yearning for. And so that's the confounding psukim that we're going to say on Shabbos. Anoichi Hashem Elokecha, I am Hashem your God, Hamalcha me'eretz Mitzrayim, who lifted you out of Egypt. And the Mefarshim have a confounding, like a wonderment. What does those words have to do with the words that follow? Harchiv picha va'amaleu. Open your mouth, and I'm going to fill, your lack. So what's the connection between the two? Hashem could have said, I am Hashem your God who created heavens and earth. I am Hashem your God who gave the Torah on Har Sinai. I am Hashem your God, fill in the blank. What does it have to do with Yetzias Mitzrayim? And the answer is because the whole journey away from a chametz mentality, which is literally exile, it's literally a person's trapped. Mom is trapped by their image, trapped by some kind of reputation, trapped. And they're incapable, you don't have to broadcast it to the whole world, but they're incapable of finding one human being that they could really be open with. They're incapable of really opening up to Hashem. That's mamish exile of chametz. The journey from chametz to matzah is harchiv picha, is to open up our mouths. And then Hashem says, va'amaleu, I'll fill it. And so this is the answer to the two questions that we began with. I think the answer to the first question is the realization that Pesach is not the commemoration of something that happened thousands of years ago. Pesach is a re-experiencing the realization that I have my own paroi, and I have my own Mitzrayim. Chazal say all exiles are called Mitzrayim, al shem she'em mitzayrim li Yisrael, because they are constricting. I have my own Mitzrayim. I have my own boundaries that I feel stuck, that I feel shackled by. So Chayav Kol Adam Liras Hasatzmi Kilu Yatzmi Mitzrayim isn't necessarily to imagine myself as if I would have been in Egypt and the whole story of Mitzrayim happened to me. On a deeper level, it's the realization that it is happening to me now. That in some certain important ways, I am in Mitzrayim, to the extent that I'm a chametz-oriented person, and all of us struggle with this, to one degree or another. And to see ourselves as having gone out of Egypt, utilizing the challenges that we've experienced in life to push us to a place where we feel humbled, so that we're able to have those tough conversations. And we're pushed to a point in life where we're able to communicate real talk, mamish, yashar lalev. And so I think this is the answer, this that we're thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I want to say something is a little bit deeper. It's not that we're thanking Hashem for taking me out of Egypt, because what's the point? You put us in, so better not put us in Egypt. Thank you very much. Don't put me into Egypt, and then you don't want to take me out of Egypt, and we'll call it even. No. The Hallel and the Hidah at the Seder is looking back over the whole evening of Kalamar B'Lesaper Harezim Meshubach, the ability to speak, the ability to talk through our challenges, the ability to get in touch with our matzah selves, with who we really are, is such a gift that I'm thanking Hashem not for taking me out of Egypt, but for putting me into Egypt in the first place. Because without being in Egypt, I never could have gotten out. Without going through those challenges, I never would have been pushed into a place where I would have discovered literally the truth about who I am, and the ability to build real relationships with someone else. This is what we're thanking Hashem for. So some of you may have heard, I'm sure you all heard of Lipa Schmelzer, yeah? All heard of Lipa. So anybody who's following Lipa Schmelzer lately, you know a little bit that his life has not been so simple. And he's been on his own journey of healing and growth. And he just recently put out an album, the last 2-3 weeks, he put out an album That's basically like a whole therapy session. It's mamish, an unbelievable thing. Every single track is just another working through new levels of consciousness, things that he learned across the journey. And he put it out in 3 languages, in English and Yiddish and Hebrew. So there's really no excuse. And it's a very heavy album. It's very rare. Because the whole Jewish music scene, like the rest of the Jewish community, because what can you do? But there's a lot of chametz, I hate to say it. There's a lot of outside stuff. Because everyone's afraid, we have children and shidduchim and this and that and reputations and names on buildings and houses and things. And very rarely do you find an artist who opens up vulnerably. Whoa. I mean, it's a pella, it's like a moifis, it's a very, very rare and wondrous thing. And it's a very heavy album. And do you know the first song on the album, which I'm going to teach to you now? Oh, you guys know it already. Beautiful. The kids are holding. I'm telling you, the kids know. That's exactly right. The first song on the album is the words Chazdei Hashem ki lo samnu ki lo chalu rachamav. The kindness of Hashem is unending, and His love is unceasing. And you know what the high part is? What the boys were just saying. We're going to sing it now. Shkoyach b'shefer shkoyach, which means in Yiddish, because shkoyach is not really a word, it's just yasher kach, but he put it together. Shkoyach means thank you, Hashem, thank you. That's how he starts the whole album. It's going to talk about what he went through. Ein l'shayr, like it's not normal what he went through in life from the time he was very young, without going into details. And he begins the whole album saying Shkoyach b'shefer shkoyach, and the end of that refrain is Chasadim Gedolim. He said the whole thing is one big huge thank you. Because if I wouldn't have gone there, I couldn't have came here. So I'm going to teach you the song. If you know it, welcome to join me, but if you don't know it, please, I beg you don't. Learn it. Because sometimes people make that mistake, and you'll learn it and then you'll join me. It's such a gorgeous song. I'm so excited to share it with you. Let's find the right key. You can play it over here. Chazdei Hashem ki lo samnu ki lo chalu lechalu rachamav Chazdei Hashem ki lo samnu ki lo chalu That's the little part. You can join me if you know it. Chazdei Hashem ki lo samnu ki lo chalu lechalu rachamav Chazdei Hashem There's thy part. Shkoyer v'shefer shkoyer, shkoyer v'shefer shkoyer, shkoyer v'shefer shkoyer, Chasadim Gedolim, shkoyer v'shefer shkoyer, shkoyer v'shefer shkoyer, shkoyer v'shefer shkoyer, Chasadim Gedolim. We need to play it on a much higher key. Chazdei Hashem ki lo samnu ki lo chalu lechalu rachamav Chazdei Hashem Nefesh HaTorah, Chasadim Gedolim, strong. We chazei Hashem, v'ki lo yisabenu, ki lo yichadu, v'chadu lachamo. Chazei Hashem, v'ki